live on the Golden Square Podcast.
This is Linda. This is Barry. And when you come to the round table, you square off with the court.
I just fold my ass on the beginning of every week because she's gonna do this so crazy thing, and it just makes me crazy.
So, why does it make you crazy?
Because I'm thinking Sesame Street.
Okay, I want to go back.
Woo!
Did I get it?
No.
Hey, everybody. Hey, and welcome to the Golden Square Podcast with your host, Linda Scott and Barry Bonds. This is going to be a fun evening. This is going to be a fun evening. Let me just say it just like that. It is. So, I have to look at him every now and then because, all right. So, but hi, Barry.
Hey, Linda.
Hi.
How was your day?
My day was good. Yeah, it was. My day was really good.
So what made it good?
I don't even know because I've been crazy ever since I woke up this morning.
Well, you were crazy before you woke up.
Oh, that's how you feel.
Well, I love you anyway.
That's
crazy or not, you're my crazy Linda, and that's that.
Okay, thank you.
And I love you crazy.
Okay.
Because if you weren't crazy, you would just be boring.
Okay.
So I keep the crazy.
Keep the craziness. Well, that's where I was this morning. It was.
But it was a good day.
It was a good day. What made it so good?
Yeah.
Because I don't know what made it so good other than the good God that woke me up this morning. But listen, listen, everybody. Here it comes. I've been up since 3-something this morning. Now ask me what
making them beans.
No, I told you to ask me what question. Ask me why.
I don't want to cut you in half.
Just
you want me to ask?
No, I want you to ask me the question. Why?
Why were you up at 3 a.m.?
Thanks for asking. I was up because my friend Barry Bonds gave me a bag of pinto beans. Pinto beans.
Yeah.
And I had never in my entire life cooked, nor do I eat them. And he said, "Do you know how to cook these?" Of course, I said no. But at 3:00 in the morning, I got up and said, "I'm gonna try it," and I did.
And they're absolutely delicious.
I was so proud of myself. I don't know if they taste good or not, but between him and my son,
let me just say this.
Okay.
They are so good. I'm mad that she didn't make no rice with it. I'm mad because those beans are screaming rice.
Okay.
Look,
you can't.
I came in.
Everybody.
So this is how crazy this is.
What?
Normally I come in and we speak and whatever. Linda said your food is in the microwave. Right. But I do know that she was making these beans, and I where did I go? I went right to the school.
Yeah.
I had to taste them, and they were. And I have to confess.
Okay, go ahead. I'm listening.
When I went back to get my drink, I had 2 more spoonfuls. I had to. I had to, and I took the blue bag of.
Is Bobby. Oh, thank you. I can't even see who that is.
Apparently, but
anyway, of your story.
Okay,
but thank you. But what was your story?
Nothing.
She
messed me up. I don't even know where I was going with it.
Sugar. Mm-hmm. But anyway,
they gave her a compliment. They said her bob was bobbing.
I didn't know what that was.
Yeah, your bob.
I had to read his heart. Twice.
Very Mary Tyler Moore.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. It's cool. I told you when I first saw it. I loved it. I thought it was nice.
But anyway, how was your day?
Full. It was full. So everyone, I started. I do a little something for sixth position in their camp, which is a fabulous dance studio, and I do the etiquette class for the young ladies, and I had such a time this week with them, and it made me smile because what we do on the first part of the etiquette class is we define the word and what it means, and to hear these little girls after they get the meaning remember it was overwhelming for me.
So what does etiquette mean? What's that?
It's what you do publicly and how you respond and act with people socially. Okay. So it's the sort of, if you will, it's the social gauge on how you should present on a regular basis.
All right.
So
I guess I just wanted to make sure you knew.
Oh no!
I know you know because
that was shady.
That's what
that was shady. It was ugly.
I cannot
do
anything right today.
Yes, you can.
I can.
You look fabulous.
Oh, thank you.
So you got
thank
that.
You, darling. Thank you.
So that was my piece for this week so far. The little girls gave me so much love, and they were so.
They are special.
I think etiquette is important. We're getting away from that more and more because of social media. We don't have any social skills when we go out in front of the world, and you still have to carve meat a certain way. You still have to use a soup spoon. You need a tablespoon,
the dessert, all of that.
We don't. And so, what I teach more than that is that it's beyond the table setting. It's bigger than that. It's presentation, self-presentation. How do you present? How do you project? How do you move? How do you sit? How do you stand? Those things are important.
They are. Okay.
So that was my day.
That was your day. And that, I'm happy. That sounds very educational. And let's go on to what we need to do. So what do you think we need to do? We need to ask the producer.
What? First, we need to do what?
Oh, we need to ask the people to like, share, and subscribe.
That's what we need you to do.
That's simple. That's all we want.
And that's what we need. Okay.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Okay, yeah.
See, that's what we need you to do.
Okay, so
and we need you to like.
We do.
First of all, we appreciate that you like us.
Yes.
Please tell your friends about her.
Yeah.
About
us.
Okay, not just her.
Not me.
Even though she's a ham bone.
About us.
Okay, about us. And then subscribe so we know that we have the support that we need.
Yeah.
And we know that you support us and love us, so we appreciate that.
And there's other things that we're trying to do as well. So
yes,
when you subscribe, you will be the first to know what's going on. So just stick with us. We got some things coming up, and
everybody think you're on your head, girl.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you.
Why you didn't say nothing about my hair?
It is
Alice.
Nice.
Alice.
See, that is nice. It's so thick.
Yeah.
Oh, that's your hair.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get this show started.
We have an incredible guest for you tonight. This gentleman is smooth. I mean, his name should be K Smooth. He's so smooth. He's a fantastic poet, a singer, producer. You name it, he's got it going on. But spoken word is one of the key factors. But he's even been able to do spoken word and tie in the music through a spin-off music with it. So I'm dying to talk to him about that and just get where his head's at with that. So without further ado, we want to bring on Khari Toure.
Hey everybody, how you doing?
How are you?
Linda. I'm good. I'm blessed. How you doing?
Good.
It's good seeing you both. You are both so adorable. Y'all funny too.
Thank you. My question that we get every single Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Is that my boyfriend? Is that my husband?
Is that my wife?
Every time we turn, that's what we get. I get so many inbox. I didn't know you were married. I'm like, so where did that come from?
The energy.
Yeah,
it's the energy.
That's every day.
Yeah, but they don't know that. They don't know us. So what they see, they see pure love.
That's right.
But enough of our love, brother. We hear you got this fantastic book. But before we go to the book, tell us how you got on this journey to do the spoken word and then fuse music with that. Tell us a little story about that.
Okay, so to make a long story short, I've been writing poetry all my life since I was 5 years old. And I started in church, actually. So in church, I would perform every youth Sunday. And they did that because I had initially joined the children's choir, right? I couldn't sing. So they kicked me out the choir and was like, boy, why don't you go ahead and write some poetry? That's what you do. And I was really good at it. So I grew up reading Maya Angelou, Langston Hughes, and just started writing poetry. So when I was, I want to say maybe 20 years ago, I attended a spoken word venue in Oakland. And one of my closest friends said, "You're really good. You should do this." I had no idea what spoken word really was. I had heard Gil Scott-Heron's music, but I'd never seen spoken word live. So I got up and I did a piece and got a standing ovation. And ever since then, God has just blessed me to be successful with spoken word. But I never really wanted to be like most spoken word artists. Like, I love spoken word, but I wanted the music accompaniment to it. So I started mixing hip hop, R&B with my spoken word, doing mixed spoken word mixtapes and everything else, and I blew up, and it's been a blessing. So that's initially how I got my start in spoken word. It was over 20 years ago in Oakland, and back then, like, MySpace was popping. So I was blowing up on MySpace and then Facebook, and I've kind of taken a break from social media to focus on writing my books, screenplays, stuff like that. But I'm ready to come back out now with a few albums because I've written a lot of spoken word pieces. And people are like, "You have all this poetry. When you going to come out with it?" And I'm like, pretty soon. I think now's the time.
They said that you have, and it's been said that you have the perfect marriage of music and poetry.
Yeah, that's what has been said. I think what it is that I'm inspired by people who came before me. Like Gil Scott-Heron is one of my favorites, the last poets, people like that. But what I did, I think that was different, and the reason why I've been somewhat successful is that fusion of R&B with spoken word, neo soul with spoken word, music that I love, and it's finding that right cadence, that right rhythm to go along with the music to make it sound good. So that's what I try and incorporate, in all the albums I've put out is the music. Somebody called me, they said, "Oh, you like the Luther Vandross of spoken word and all this other stuff people were saying," but I just I make music I would want to listen to, put it that way.
So, do you write music as well?
Yes, I produce. I'm a producer. When I started producing music, I was actually 15 years old, and my father had bought me a Roland 808 drum machine. So I would make these beats along with my raps and everything, and then I started going to the studio. And I recently learned 2 years ago how to play the keyboard, the piano, the chord progressions, and all that. So that's why now I'm working on a new album called "The Soul of a Poet," which I'm hoping to drop sometime in August or September. But yeah, I do it all. I've been playing the drums since I was 7. And now I make my own beats. So everything I do, everything I put out is something I've created.
How do you approach writing? And the only reason I'm asking that question is because there are so many people who want to write a book. I have a book in me. I have a book in me. How do you tell them? How do you approach it? How do you approach it?
It's not easy. And let me be honest with you, Linda, I'm probably the wrong person to ask because it took me 20 years to put out Lyrics and Lust. I've written other books like Curvy and Confident, which Sharita's on the cover, but it took me 20 years to put out Lyrics and Lust. It initially started, I'm going to show you how old this book is. When I initially started writing Lyrics and Lust, when that movie Misery came out. I don't know if you remember it, but the woman who kidnapped the author who was infatuated. So at the time I was writing poetry, right? Not spoken word, just regular poetry, and I said it would be a dope movie idea for me to put out a book about a poet who writes erotica but ends up getting stalked by one of his fans. So that's when I started writing Lyrics and Lust, was back in the 90s. And then when I started blowing up with spoken word, I was like, "Oh, I should put out the book now." But sometimes I'm my worst enemy. I'm a perfectionist when it comes to certain things. So I wrote the book back in, I think I want to say I finished it in 2009, and I didn't put it out because I felt like the writing wasn't good enough. So I hesitated, I procrastinated, and procrastination is the graveyard of dreams. So that's why now I'm being more active and proactive in putting out my projects. So I just recently released it, at the beginning of this year. And I had to make it current and up to date. And Sharita is the one who inspired it. She was the first one to get a copy of the book, the unedited version. She is like, Khari, this book is amazing. You got to put this out, and that's how I said, okay, I'm gonna put it out. So it's actually a trilogy. Lyrics and Lust begins with, it's about a poet who does spoken word. His name is Kareem. He does spoken word and he ends up attracting a fan who becomes a stalker. But there's a plot twist in the book. And that plot twist is what gets everybody. They're like, wow, I was not expecting that. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to make sure the book was a page turner. It was well written. And I made it to where even people who don't like to read will enjoy this book. So that's why I wrote Lyrics and Lust. And it has a deep message to it. Before, when I wrote it back in college, it could have been X-rated. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
But I took the sex out and focused more on the suspense. And because I wanted people to gravitate towards the message of the book, that, life and death lies in the power of the tongue. So that's the whole theme of the book. It's just some people, one woman said, oh my God, this book is Christian suspense. I've never heard of that. And then another one was like, oh, this is romantic suspense. I'm like, okay, well, whatever, as long as you enjoy the book, So I'm promoting it. I'm gonna run a few ads. I'm gonna make it free on Kindle within the next couple of weeks, because when I do things, I don't do them to make money. I do them to put out my message. So that's the most important thing to me.
I just want to go back a second real quick. You mentioned that I want to hear your perspective on the difference between poetry and spoken word. What's the difference? Because I always assumed they were one and the same. Yeah. So
poetry, in my opinion, is like written down. Spoken word is a verbal art form. So with spoken word, you can write it down, and it's not as, it can be complex, but it's not as simple as the written poetry. So with spoken word, you have a good spoken word artist, you should be able to make people laugh, cry, and enjoy that one single poem. So it's an art form. You're using alliterations, you're using metaphors, you're using concrete imagery, you're using performance. It's more of a performance. Whereas poetry, you could just open a poem, a poetry book, and enjoy it, whether it's Pablo Neruda or whatever, and just sit down and enjoy it. But with spoken word, you got to spit. You got to get out there. You got to get the crowd active. You got to get everybody involved. So it's more of a performance base. And that's why I grew to love spoken word, because I had never seen poetry in motion like that. I had never seen poets just be able to spit a poem and get everyone involved. The call and response, that tradition that comes from Africa, that's spoken word, where you could get everybody involved and feeling it and just hype everybody up, So that's the main difference. I think poetry, and I love poetry. I'm a poet first before I'm anything. But I think with poetry, that main genre includes the written word, where spoken word is more of a verbal art form. It's based on your oratorical skills and your ability to convey everything to the crowd.
So what's a chapter that challenged your emotion while writing?
So the chapter in my book, there's two chapters. One, I'll tell you. Okay, so the book, I gave the book first to family members and Sharita. There's some parts in the book that's going to make people laugh and cry, but there's one part in the book where Kareem meets the love of his life, Maya, and he's facing a critical challenge. He's like, he has to grow as a man. He's been writing this erotic poetry, but he comes to understand that, he doesn't want to let the woman that he loves, who is Maya, slip out of his life. So he's focused on not only leaving the erotic poetry alone, because that's where Lyrics and Lust is about. He's an erotic spoken word artist, and I've written a few erotic poems, but he does erotic spoken word. But Maya is a gospel singer, and she doesn't want to be with a man who's fornicating and everything else. So that forces him to focus on his future, So he comes to a critical juncture in the book. It's like, I'm going to lose the woman I love if I don't change my hoish ways and focus on being a better man and a better person. So there's one chapter in the book that talks about personal transformation, and it's something I had to go through. It's something I think that a lot of men go through in their lives. We ask ourselves, when is it time to mature as a man and focus on family and fatherhood and faith and the important things, the futures, spending our life with, one woman. So that's really what the book is about. It's going to make a lot of men also, have that introspective moment where we look at ourselves and challenge ourselves to become better and to grow. Because I'm telling you, there's nothing worse than seeing a good woman leave your life.
Wow. That's the key that we have to ask all men. When do you decide to settle down? When you said I do, I was thinking about I do. When that's deep right there. That's deep.
Yeah.
I'm into that. So, when you're writing a poem, how do you know you're finished? How do you know that's the end? That is it.
I have poems that I've been working on for 3-4 years that aren't finished. So I checked it. I can't grab my phone right now, but I have over 712 spoken word poems in my phone alone. I've written 3 poetry books and only put one out, Beautiful Just the Way You Are. And actually I put another one out, but that one is no longer available. But you just get a feeling like, okay, it's complete. But really, I don't think any poem is ever really complete until you get that sense of discernment where you know that, okay, it's finished. And where I'm at now with my writing, I want to write life-changing spoken word, spoken word that can inspire people, encourage people, that's where I'm at. But I'm horrible when it comes to finishing poetry because I'm like, okay, it's good, but it's not great. And that goes back to being my worst critic, which is something that I need to do away with, But even my poems that have gone viral, I put them out and I'll never listen to them again, or because I'm like, that's so whack. Oh, why'd I put that out? So, that's the thing. I think with any good creative artist is you're constantly trying to get better. You're constantly trying to outdo your work. You don't ever want to be mid or mediocre. I think being content with your work as it is a recipe for mediocrity. So I'm always trying to get better. I'm always trying to grow. And I write every day. I write poetry. I write every day. I write. I devote at least 2 hours a day to writing, so 2 hours working out, 2 hours writing every day, trying to get the best, become better than I was the day before. So it's
what makes you want to go in for 2 hours? I'm gonna write about what?
Well, what I did is I recently bought a new house and I converted one of the spare bedrooms into a music room, and I have all my vinyl records and my books in there. And what I do is every morning I wake up 5:36 and I begin writing. I go in there for about an hour or two to write and read books. And I did that because I wanted to have a set time where I could devote towards writing and reading. I've always liked to read. Even in college, people remind me, I used to read like 3 books a week. and I was a TA in 2 of my classes. So I would get my money from working, and I go to the bookstore, Green Apple Books, and buy like 10 books and spend all weekend locked up in my studio reading books and grading papers. That's always been me. I've always had a love for literature. So the things that I love most, after God first, is reading literature, listening to music, being a father, and making music. That's it.
So lyrics and lust brings fire to the page as a romantic suspense thriller, obsession, fame, desire, and the danger of attracting the wrong people is the book.
Yes.
Is there a character in that book that's you?
I mean, I kind of modeled myself after Kareem, who's the protagonist in the book. I definitely poured a lot of myself into that character, which is why I put the poem. There's some poems in the book also. I had put out songs Go Deep and Sweet Tooth and got hundreds of thousands of streams. They're not even available anymore, but I am going to put them back out. Just, not as explicit versions. But Kareem is definitely modeled after me because there was a time when I was out performing spoken word that I did attract some women who were quite adamant in going out with me, and that's the danger too. Like I said, with anything you do in life, if you're good at it, or you want to go after, seek attention and everything else, you have to be careful with that. Be careful. Not all attention is good attention. Many times in life, we attract the wrong things, seeking attention. So that's something too that I had to grow. I didn't realize how powerful words are. When I was writing all this poetry and performing and everything else, I used to love to perform spoken word. But it got to a point where I had to ask myself, look, am I doing this for applause or am I doing this, for a good cause? So that's kind of why I stepped back, because I want to do anything I do in life. I want to make sure that I'm doing it for the right reasons, So that's mainly what the book is about. So the character Kareem is somewhat loosely based on me.
Okay, so do men seek attention? As like they say, women do whatever for attention. Men seek attention. What?
I can't speak for all men. I'll just say that. I'll just say that in this social media culture, I think there are a lot of grown men who are mentally immature that seek attention. They will do anything for likes. They will do anything for attention. And it's sad. You have men my age in their 40s or 50s still out there acting like little boys. Foolishness. And it's all driven by social media. So I'm not going to say do all men seek attention? Do all women seek attention? I don't believe that. But I do believe that there are some people who do the wrong things and will do anything to try to go viral. It's crazy. It's crazy. Like going viral, trust me, I've gone viral a few times, and that attention is not worth it. Give me the fortune, forget the fame. You can keep the fame. You know what I'm saying? I don't want any fame. So, but yeah, there are people out there, unfortunately, that do crazy things for attention.
And seeking attention is on levels. I mean, we all seek something sometime, and we all want approval sometimes. So it's all levels, and it's all, relative to the individual, I believe. So
yeah, exactly.
Okay, then.
I'm just saying.
I just want to know.
Yeah, no. I mean, you seek attention.
I do.
You got your new hairdo. What's that mean?
Well, Linda, you gorgeous. You going to get attention no matter what. I mean, that's the thing.
Man. Right. Don't tell him how much. Don't tell him, but I never I never looked at that like that. I didn't.
I think we all look for some kind of acceptance more so than approval sometimes.
Yeah.
And I think that's the balance, to look for acceptance over approval. Everybody wants to be liked and loved. That's important. But too much of anything is never good. Never good.
So with that being said, what is one of your most meaningful projects that you worked on or produced so far?
Well, I'm working on an album now called The Soul of a Poet that I actually put out a mixtape. Hella long ago. I want to say back in 2005, called The Soul of a Poet. And everybody was playing the songs on it, Thickness and all these other songs. But I'm working on it now, and it's a dope album. Like, I'm really excited about it. And I'm working on the follow-up to Lyrics and Lust. This is going to be called Lyrics in Las Vegas. And in that book, it's about a rapper from Oakland, Tahir. He goes and signs to a record label in Las Vegas, but he doesn't know that it's owned by the devil. So that's a powerful, and I'm writing that book. The book is basically finished, but I'm writing that book because a lot of what I see in hip hop now has become demonic. It's not the way hip hop used to be, during the golden era of hip hop, when rap music had a message and everything else. So that's going to be the follow up to Lyrics in Las Vegas. And then I'll be releasing The Soul of a Poet, hopefully in August and September. And this is something I think you two would like. I'm doing a romantic comedy novel called Golden. And I want to release that hopefully around Christmas. So Golden is about a couple that's been married 49 years. They're preparing to celebrate their 50th wedding anniversary, but some medical issues arise. So they hire a caregiver who takes care of them. And then they have a son who's a passport bro. He's traveled the world and he doesn't want to get married, but he meets the caregiver and, develops feelings for her. So they both learn a lot from their parents, the Michael's parents, about what love is like and the importance of, communication and staying away from social media. Don't let social media ruin your relationship. But it's a beautiful romantic comedy. So I'm working on that book too, and hopefully I can have that done by December.
So are you going to do plays and movies? I mean, is that next to you?
I think ultimately my biggest thing is going to movies. I just got my director's certificate in cinema. So I think ultimately I want to make a movie, definitely within the next year or two. And I would love to make Golden a movie, more so than Lyrics and Lust and Lyrics in Las Vegas. What scares me is I don't want to pitch Lyrics in Las Vegas or Lyrics in Lust and Netflix or somebody's like, we want this as a movie. I'm like, no, I want Golden as a movie because that movie has such an important message to it. And I based it off, my nana, my grandparents raising me, the wisdom that they instilled in me, growing up in the 70s. It's just a lot in that book that I think this younger generation would appreciate.
So does that mean you would bypass doing plays and go straight to movies?
Yeah. I'm not really into plays. I mean, I liked Hamilton, but I'm more into movies. I'm more into cinema. I want to get the movie out there, But in plays, I'm not discounting plays at all. Plays are important, but one thing I've learned in cinema, you live forever in film. Film is the only thing where you can be immortal. Because when you pass away, people will always rewatch that. Correct. So I want my life legacy to be through music, film, poetry, of course, literature, but more so film. I think film leaves more of a lasting impact than than being in a play.
Do you have writing workshops as well?
No, I've attended a few. In fact, I'm attending a writing work. I'm still learning how to write. You know, I view life as a continuous quest to grow and acquire and attain knowledge and get better. So I attend as many workshops as I can when it comes to writing. And it's funny because back in 2005, when I first began performance spoken word, it's like nobody could tell me nothing. I'm the best. Don't ever, you know, you want to see me in a rap battle, you know, spoken word battle, let's spit, you know. I was very egotistical, very arrogant. And I look back and I listen to those spoken word pieces, and I'm like, ugh, I wouldn't even spit that now. That's horrible. So that's a sign of growth. That's a sign of growth. You know, I'm still learning, and there's still a lot that I have to learn. But maybe in a few years I'll have a workshop on, you know, writing and, you know, poetry and everything else. Poetry can be healing. You know, it's very therapeutic. It's a catharsis for me. It allows me to pour out my pain on page and release my emotions and everything else. It's always been there for me. So that's why poetry is sacred for me. And I think that if a lot of people, even if you're not a poet, if you journal or you write down your feelings, you know, it really helps. It's very therapeutic.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
So for little ones, young people up under you, the generation behind you, and what advice would you give them to go for what they know because they're being not noticed and nobody wants to listen to them? How would you have them to handle that?
Well, I would say if you're writing, don't quit. You know, I believe in you if no one else does. If you're trying to create something, the best thing you can do is be honest in your work. Tell the truth. Sometimes our most powerful pieces come from the deepest, darkest places where we don't want other people to hear or know. So I always tell people, you know, your most powerful piece might be that one piece that you never wanted to write or that one poem that you never wanted to tell, but that can change somebody's life and that may even save a life. You know, so always be honest with your work, but never quit, never give up. Always, you know, give it your best. And you know, you have to believe in yourself and promote your work. You know, like I said, I'm a creator. I'm not a marketer, I'm not a promoter, you know. And now I'm going to have to hire some marketers or promoters to promote the book. And I think that's a lot of problems creatives have is we create, but we're not necessarily into the commercial aspect as far as promoting our work. But definitely keep doing what you're doing, stay encouraged, be inspired, and learn from others. You know, attend workshops, do what you need to do, network. You know, now is the best time more than ever with social media and everything else to network with other people, build your tribe, you know, find a collective that you can work with, but never give up. And don't allow other people's opinions to deter you from what you need to do.
That was okay. But do you believe in that saying that everybody has a story to tell?
I do. I do. I really do. I think that we all have a story to tell. You know, I think that you know, it's those tests that we go through in life can be a testimony. You know, it really depends on, you know, what you want to say with it, you know, but everyone has a story because we all go through joys and pains and, you know, everything else. So what you may think is insignificant can probably be significant towards to someone else. So definitely tell your story. Definitely.
Oh, that's kind of telling me all these million of people walking around one day could be authors. But nobody. Okay, but
not
Well,
necessarily.
I do want to say this. I don't think everybody is meant to be an author. I
Correct.
think that if you don't have to force yourself to be an author. Like you could tell your story through, you know, a TikTok, you know, or something like that, some type of video medium or something to relay your point across. Um, that's the important thing, is to realize is that we all have different gifts and talents and everything else. Some people are amazing when it comes to streaming. Some people are amazing when it comes to being, a content creator. So it doesn't necessarily have to be in the form of literature, but it's something, if you gravitate towards writing literature or a book, definitely pursue it, But you got to realize that a lot of America is illiterate, unfortunately. And getting your works out, if you expect to make a fortune selling books, it may not happen. If you want to be lucrative and everything else, you may want to consider making a movie or going through TikTok or something else, some type of video medium where people can watch. But it has to be good. It has to be captivating. It has to be groundbreaking, and it has to capture people's attention, because attention spans nowadays are shorter than ever. I was reading somewhere that the attention span has diminished like over 70% within the past 20 years. So you has to really grab people in order for them to gravitate towards it.
Absolutely correct.
Okay.
That's it. And just for you,
yes,
edification.
Yes.
There are many ways that people express their story.
Yes.
You're one of the most fabulous coaches I know, and you express your story through coaching.
That's right.
He expresses his through writing, so we all have a medium that we would choose that fits our personality, that will allow us to tell the story.
Okay.
So it comes in many forms other than just writing.
Yes, ma'am. All right, y'all heard it. I just brought it out there so they could tell you what it is. So that's amazing. So do you have any poems that you can give our audience tonight? Can you?
I knew you were going to put me on the line. I have one. Father's Day is coming up, right?
Yes.
So I have one I wrote a few years ago, and I don't have it committed to memory, but I am going to try my best to remember it and recite it. So I don't have a title for this yet, but this is for fathers, especially the Black fathers, who may be going through difficult times, which many of us are right now in this society, and these crazy, turbulent, tumultuous times we living in. So this is a piece I wrote a few years ago, and it doesn't have a title, but it's for the fathers. I say, my father was an athlete, a track star. He held records at his high school. He was fast on his feet. One day when I was a child, I was in the mood to compete. So I challenged him to a foot race. We ran a mile around the track, and when the race ended, I was so winded, he beat me easily. He was fast. And the last time I saw my father, I was 13. He ran out of my life, and I swore that if I ever became a father, that I would never run out on my children. And I remember watching the 1992 Olympic Games. A runner named Derek Redmond tore his hamstring in the 400-meter semifinal. But despite the pain, he continued limping towards the finish line. Suddenly, his father ran on the track and helped him complete the final lap. Watching that impact left an impact. Although Redmond was disqualified from the race and didn't finish in first place, in my opinion, he won a medal greater than gold because he had a father to hold. And my first challenge as a father began when my firstborn daughter was taken to another part of the state. I refused to run. I even slept inside the airport so I wouldn't miss the next court date. And on the day I was awarded full physical custody, felt like winning a prize for first place. And it was then I realized fatherhood is not a sprint. It's a lifelong event. It will test your endurance. And for Black fathers, it's even more challenging because we've had to deal with setbacks. Seeing our families sold and separated on auction blocks, enduring segregated sidewalks, and jumping over Jim Crow historical hurdles of racist hatred. So this poem, I celebrate Black fathers. Those of us who play hide and seek with our children rather than play hide and seek from parental responsibility. The girl dads who are never tardy for our daughter's tea party. For every father who ever had to chew on their children's fake food and pretend as if that nasty piece of plastic was delicious. Fathers who take their children on fishing trips and have never-ending debates on who the greatest NBA player is, Jordan, LeBron, or Kobe. And I just want to say that The chef, Steph Curry, will be in that conversation one day. Black fathers who have to have difficult conversations with their sons and tell them never, if you ever get pulled over by the police, just comply. Keep your hands in plain sight because I don't want them to accuse you of having a gun, son. I don't want you to die. Black fathers, we are here at every age, walking our children across elementary school walks, teaching them how to do a crossover dribble and cheer for them when they walk across the high school stage. The narrative of a missing Black father is a myth. And although there are some of us who slip up and stumble on America's racist racetrack, but it's never too late to race back and reclaim your title of being a father. Your children need you to be their champion. And in order to triumph, you have to try. And to my father, the track star who ran out of my life, I haven't seen you in over 30 years. I forgive you. You lost your legs, but I am your living legacy. And I love you. And I won't judge you because I never had to run a mile in your shoes, but I promise you this, Dad. Fatherhood is one race that I will not lose.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
I think
awesome. I loved it.
That was perfect.
That was good.
Yes,
It
that was
was.
perfect.
So we got to get that. So Father, we got to have.
I messed up a few times. So like I said, I don't have it committed to memory, but that's just one of many pieces.
It was still good.
Wow.
Oh, thank you.
That was awesome. I think that was everything. So I just want to say, can you put that on a recording so Father Days come, we could
Audio.
Audio.
Oh yeah, I was thinking about filming into a video. In fact, I am going to maybe next week throw on the Nike tracksuit, get on a racetrack and perform the poem and put it out for Father's Day. And add some more to it because like I said, it wasn't that poem I don't think is finished or very good, but it's something that I think we as Black fathers need to hear. We have to cheer each other on and root for each other and encourage each other.
And you did great. I don't understand. And only you knew you messed up. So we got to start training ourselves, our children, to teach them, just continue to go, because we didn't know the words.
We did not.
No. So we just got the message, and the message was amazing.
We have a little challenge.
So, yeah, we do. So, but
I'm so glad he got the
poem out,
which was amazing.
It was.
Thank you. I have a lot of spoken word pieces that I that I've written, especially recently. I've been on a serious writing binge, I guess you could say. So I just wrote like 10 new spoken word pieces over the weekend. So I thank God for giving me this this gift, to be able to release, the emotions and the feelings and everything that I have.
That's beautiful.
So
Brother Khari, we lost your video. If you're able to maybe go out studio and come back in.
Okay.
Thank you.
Do he have any video, man producer, that he could share while he's coming back in?
That's the new book.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
I don't have the video, but I'll also post a link to his book. But yeah, that's the front. This is actually the back, the front and back cover of the book.
Okay.
Layers and Lust. That looks good.
That looks really good.
Yeah. I love his name.
Yeah.
Khari
Toure.
Yeah. That's good stuff.
So we are waiting him to come back and ask any questions or. Okay.
Oh, you're back. Welcome back.
Thank you. I don't know what happened.
Okay, don't go that way. Okay, all right. Okay. All right. So
when is your new book release? Is there an actual event?
Yeah, no, the book's been released. It's on Amazon now. And what's a trip is I haven't promoted it. And I noticed people from Germany and the UK buying the book already. So I'm like, wait, what's going on?
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so people are buying the book and I think I've only promoted it once on Facebook,
That's a
but
good thing.
I haven't promoted it. So that's a blessing, you know, and somebody already reviewed the book on Amazon. I always tell people, if you enjoy it, please leave a review of the book, you know, and that's what gets other people to read it. Like I said, I'm more interested in the getting the message out than the money, which is why I'm going to make it available for free within the next week or two. And I think especially for Juneteenth, because the book is really a celebration of our culture too. You know, it's a lot of spoken word, and it delves into a lot of history in the book about Oakland and the, you know, the Black Panther Party, and, you know, just things that have shaped me growing up in Oakland. So I'm excited. I'm excited about the book and for the follow-up lyrics in Las
I
Vegas.
think we should get a couple of copies and give them out on this end. What do you think? Yeah. I think we should get a couple of copies and
And just want to show this book as well, dear
Oh yeah,
brother.
Curvy and Confident. That's a book that I wrote 10 years ago, I think. And
yeah.
my friend Sharita, rest in peace, is on the cover. She was just amazing. Like
Yes, she
she was she
was.
was she was one of my best friends, and I want to do something special for Sharita in honor of her and breast cancer awareness. So I wrote a powerful piece. I wasn't gonna tell anyone, but me and Sharita would talk for hours. And I wrote a powerful piece for her called Pink Roses. And it it's a personal piece, so I'm not gonna put that one out. But I just wrote her a new piece because I said, you know, I want to create something to honor you and promote breast cancer awareness. So over the weekend, I locked myself in the room and I wrote this piece for her. She loves San Francisco. We filmed 2 videos out here, and she loved San Francisco. So I'm gonna film it out in San Francisco, and you know, hopefully it can encourage, you know, people um to get checked, you know, for breast cancer and
Right.
everything else, as well as honor her legacy. You know, she won't be in the video, but the poem, the music, and everything is dedicated to her.
Yeah, that is amazing. So we got time for our 2 cents. Yeah. So don't go away. And did we tell them how they can get in contact with you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, I can see. Okay, so that's how you can do it. And we pray that you will be able to come back and share that with us. And man, I don't want you to go because I really wanted you to spit that out about Sarita, but I'm okay. I can wait.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's there's this song on my album that's out now called For Kissy. She wanted me to always make a video for that song. And it's a powerful song. But I am, for her, I am gonna make a video out of it maybe later this year in fall. But the piece I just wrote for Sharita, I cannot spit without breaking down crying. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I feel it. I feel it.
I went in the I went in I went in the studio just the other day to try and do it, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't even finish it. I got 70% towards the piece. And you know, my engineer, he was even in tears, you know. So and I've never seen him cry for anything. So but it's definitely a powerful piece. It's God gave me this piece. You know, it's certain poems that you know that you wrote, but then there's other pieces that you ask God to guide your pen.
Right.
And God definitely guided my pen with this piece. So I'm hopefully I can have it released within the next
How
couple
could you
of
not do that? So do you want to send us into our 2 cents? Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That our 2 cents, don't even go away, just stay right there, because our 2 cents this evening was about mental health.
That's what it was.
Yeah. See?
That's what it was.
It was about mental health. And a friend of mine on her Facebook page asked the question, what was it? Where were you in your mental health capacity between 1 and 10?
Mm-hmm.
And 10 being the
Strong.
high. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you there. I'm good.
I'm good.
And
0 being you're a nutcase.
Truly. So I was somewhere in the middle.
3. Yeah, not even in the middle. Okay, so
But on the real deal, I said I'm about a 7.
Oh,
that was early this morning.
Right.
That was early this morning. But
7.
But you know, the thing of mental health for me is, as we said about attention, it's not the attention. I need you to come and check on me because of what all is going on in my life, that I am taking responsibilities of other people's lives, that I feel like I weigh about 600 pounds, and that mental capacity that I have, I am probably about a 3.
That's what I said.
Yeah, I am about a 3.
And the crazy thing about the whole thing is that we're at a place now that that number fluctuates for us.
Right.
It's 3 today. It'll be 6 tonight.
Yeah.
It'll be 2 tomorrow morning.
Right.
And it's all this stuff coming away. Age and mental health are synonymous with being, a marriage. And we need to somehow continue.
Right.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Continue to make sure that we're reaching out to those that we know and love, because you live alone, I live alone. If nobody checks on us, we could be up in here dead.
That's it.
Or crazy. One of the
two. It's one or the other. We don't know.
Mm-mm.
And then that's one of my biggest fear. And I've told a couple of girlfriends that for me to be in this house and no one checked on me, and I've been expired 2 weeks,
Mine too. And I got stairs. And I'm always feeling like a Hollywood movie. I'm gonna stumble down the stairs and can't get to the phone and end up broken on the floor, and nobody comes to get me. And by the time they come and get me, it's number of flies and funk up in my house.
Right. But there's no one reaching out. Not gonna say no one, but we don't have enough care about our neighbors, about our families. So when do we get back into that? And that's a part of the mental capacity that's down.
Mm-hmm.
I know I have a strong family, especially with my little sister, who says,
that is the worst.
I said, oh, you got gray hair. Yep, that's yours and our uncle. I'm like, oh, okay. So I know I have a support team there, but who else have a support team? There's so many other people who don't have anyone checking in on them, and we don't want to check in on no one.
And because we're here now, and this is, mental health piece, we have to remember that one of the most important things that we must do as seniors is to make sure that the people have our information. My dearest friends say to me, well, who do I call, B, when something happens to you?
Correct.
And I'm thinking, well, you know what's going on. Well, you know what's going on, but my sister's in Florida. I have another sister in New York City. Do you know my people? So I try to make sure that all the people who are very close to me have that information before, and that's very important, because somebody needs to reach out to somebody.
Yes.
And we need to take an active step and controlling the narrative on how we age. And that we're not sitting up in this room crazy. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
Yeah.
And we all live to get older.
We all.
That's our dream.
Right.
That's the goal, to get older. What is that number? I don't know. The older, higher it get, I'm there. But we don't still have that love for one another to check in on each other.
We have to do better.
And that's what we have to do for sure.
And the piece is, I'm so glad you just said that. The example of what that looks like is me and Linda, because people think we're a married couple, and she lives 100 miles away from me. Okay. And we see each other guaranteed every Thursday. But
in between,
we talk all the time. I mean, there's a network of people like she just mentioned, that we have our little village. It's important for us to maintain a sane mind and a healthy growth and aging is to make sure that your village is tight. You got to really work on that. And that means that including people that add value, security, and a health plan in your future. I mean, and not to say they need to pay for your health, but they're with you on your health, because it's health, it's loneliness, depression is a big thing for seniors.
It is.
And that's the other piece for when you start talking about dementia, you know, people are depressed into you get depressed into trying to be another somebody, you know, because you're hating your situation.
It's time to go.
Is it?
Oh, it's 8 o'clock. Okay.
But
Next week. That was good. That we're finished.
Right. That was deep. That was deep.
Yeah.
We got retarded.
But
thank you so much for having me.
Gary, you're the man. We appreciate you so much. Thank you, everybody, for the continued support. We got a little wordy tonight, but it was worth it. And everything that was said needed to be said.
Exactly. So we look for you to like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend. Be a friend. And we'll see you next week. Same time.
Go to Split Podcast.
Fashion, business, and more. Open up your mind.